Everyone, today I want to talk to you about the next mistake in my mistake series, which is don't take on too much education or mentorship at a single time. Okay, so it's Thursday morning. It's a quite a nice fresh morning actually. It's where I talk about past experiences in business, property, and investing. And my mistake series have proven to be quite popular, so I'm just going to keep, hammering the mistakes every week that I've made, which I've got an absolute catalogue of. So this was an important one, and it can almost give you kind of entrepreneurial freeze if you get it wrong, and you can turn into an absolute procrastinator again. Now, everybody talks about the importance of education and mentorship, and I'm no different. It's super, super important. Find someone, success leaves clues, find someone or a product or course that can take you to the next level. Okay, and then go through it, implement it, execute it, and you should expedite your journey to that destination. That's if everything goes well. So that's the principle behind it anyway. However, if you take on too much too soon, you have too much information and you get information overload or mentorship overload. And what will end up happening is kind of you'll freeze and you won't get enough done. And you won't make the progress you need because there's too much to do. It kind of overwhelms you and it's like, well, where do I start? What do I do next? And the reason I'm quite happy to share this mistake with you is because this is a mistake I'm actually implementing at this moment in time. Implementing is the wrong word. This is an absolute mistake I'm experiencing at this exact moment in time. Now, just a little bit of background on that is I'm currently working through Instagram to 1,000 challenges within 30 days. It hasn't happened for me in 30 days, not because of the challenge, because I haven't been able to do the daily activities every day because I've had so much else on, but I'm working on that at a slower pace, which is okay. I've also got the Profit Process program, which is a year-long kind of coaching program, an online course structure. Morning, and there's quite a lot to implement every week. Again, I'm moving that forwards. You're supposed to be on top of it every week. I'm probably 2 or 3 weeks behind at this moment in time. That's because the two of them together, require so much work. I've also got a skill stack course I got sucked into buying, which is a kind of a high-level overview into all of the social platforms and kind of how you can. Sorry, I'm playing on my earpods today because my memory foam tips broke, so I'm back to the standard silicon ones, and they don't stay in my ears as well. A bit of information there, but I've got another set on the order, so I should be right shortly. But yeah, so I've got a skill stacks course as well. I've got a backlog of 2 or 3 courses as well that I've bought. I get sucked into different email lists, and I'm a sucker. I buy and I funnel hack quite a lot as well to see what people are doing in terms of how they're kind of converting people into their sales funnel. So I do a lot of that, and as a result, have an absolute Aladdin's cave of courses and products and things that I need to implement into my business. But there's just such a volume, I've fallen way behind everything. So I'm still making this mistake now, and but I'm consciously aware of it. So I'm doing my 12-week plan at the moment. This is week 1 of quarter 2 in our 12-week year process, and did all the planning meetings last week. I'm now doing all the setup for all the teams and all the different businesses this week to give everybody clarity and focus. I'm putting the Gantt charts together so we can see a real step-by-step timeline of what we need to achieve and when. And I'm going to add my training courses into this plan. So I'm not going to focus on any more. I'm going to do one. I'm furthest through the Instagram one, so I'll be finishing that first. Now I might binge at it as I've got a backlog of daily lessons now I can kind of binge through. So I might have a day just associated with that to catch up. Then I'll move on to the profit process, which, to be honest, is probably the most important as far as I'm concerned, to get my numbers and everything right. However, you know, I need to finish off what I've started before I can really go deep on that and catch up with that before I implement the next. So my advice is to only take on one. If you're in a mentorship program, don't look for other training, okay? It will just distract you and overwhelm you. Just follow what your mentor is telling you. If you bought an online course, don't buy any more. Just work through that. Implement the teachings until you've got the value, got the return on it. Too many people are course and education junkies, and they end up buying, investing so much, thinking that yes, I've invested in my development. It's like a badge of honour. I've invested probably somewhere between, I don't know, 50 to 75,000 over the past, 10 to 15 years, which isn't that bad really, when you compare to some people. But I've always kind of gone low level and tried to implement it. I can honestly say there's very few courses and stuff that courses and bits and pieces that I've purchased that I haven't got a return on. I've always implemented it. The same with my ongoing education and learning. I'm constantly reading books and I'm constantly listening to podcasts. But what I do there, which is where I don't miss, and this is another hack, is I have an app called Just Press Record, which means I can record voice notes on my Apple Watch, which automatically sync with my Apple iPhone, and then I can zap that into Asana, so it doesn't get lost, and I'll then put that into my timeline of events where it fits into my education thing. But I'll be implementing everything and building this kind of structured agenda of what learnings and teachings I implement into my business infrastructure on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that's why I feel a little bit okay about where I am at the moment. But I am making that mistake of doing it again, and I constantly do it, but at least I have an organised structure to ensure that I implement the learnings and the teachings, and I get the benefit of that in the long run. So really, really important. So hope this has been useful. I hope there's been some cool bits of information that will help you here. But to summarise, if you're starting off and you haven't got a really organised infrastructure and everything, just do one thing at a time. If you're learning for a mentorship program, if you pay for an online course, or if you've got a free course, whatever, just finish it first. Implement the teachings, and it might take you a couple of months to implement what you've learned, well, so be it. Do that, and only when you've finished and you've maximised the benefit from that course or that piece of education, you can move on to the next. Start with that. As you get better and you have a better organised infrastructure, perhaps take on one or two absolute max. Say, never take on more than two. Any more than that, you'll be completely overwhelmed. 2 is the absolute max. And if you have an organised structure to be able to deal with the volume of key points that you need to implement into your infrastructure to get the benefit of it. So that would be my advice. A lot of people will know that one of my favourite words is value. And it's not because I'm tight, it's because I like to get a return on what I've invested, or I want to get the bang for buck. And when I'm spent on education, I want to make sure that I implement everything it teaches me. Otherwise, it was a complete waste of money because I haven't benefited from it as much as I should have done. So that's just my advice. So I'd only take on 2 when you've got a really good operation set up or planning organised structure where you can capture all the information and make sure that it's processed at some point in the future. If you can't do that, just focus on 1. You'll still get there a lot quicker by doing 1, and you'll actually get there a lot quicker by having the clarity of focusing on 1 course or mentorship program, rather than having multiple to juggle or freezing, not making the progress you want. So you'll get there a lot quicker by doing it in a structured fashion. So sorry about the tech difficulties on this one. The joys of using this technology is only as good as when it performs. But anyway, so I hope you found it useful. Any questions, drop me a comment. I'll always respond to every comment. If you think this is good value, please mention or tag the person in who thinks it can be value, or share it. And if you're on another channel, just follow or subscribe. If it's not for you, or it's irrelevant, just unfollow me, unfriend me, and it won't clutter up the feed. No problem there. But hopefully you found this useful. And as always, stay positive, stay happy. And I'll see you on the next episode.